Yes, we are. You're having so much fun. I just thought I wouldn't disturb you.
No, not fun. I'm just canning it.
You're canning it. I'm going to put it in a can. Okay.
You're always catching me. Well,
I'm so busy.
Yeah, I am. I'm busy again. Hey, I hope everybody's having a good time. That is to say, you're taking deep breaths and realizing that you're still alive.
Amen. Got lights, got camera, got action.
I'm continuing to read chapters from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I've been told that I'm on chapter 8. I thought I was on chapter 6.
Well,
But I've already read chapter 6 all the way up to 7, so that must mean I'm on 8.
I guess so. At least if they haven't changed the numbers with all this new math.
Don't confuse me, please.
All right.
Don't confuse me. Don't confuse anybody. Alfred, this is what I have to go through. When I'm confused. So I'm going to read chapter 8.
Okay.
And maybe even get in a little bit into chapter 9.
Yes.
Because these are...
Well, I know this is from your draft, which is a wee bit different from the published book, but
the essence
challenge.
of what we're talking about is there.
Los Angeles, yes, okay.
It doesn't matter, because the people who are hip to what I'm doing know that what I'm doing is what I'm doing.
You're taking artistic license.
I'm taking artistic license.
Yes, to do whatever you like it to do.
And how much is artistic license?
It depends on what court you're in.
Ooh, you go.
Court of public opinion or real
I have to
court.
go online nowadays.
Yes, you do. Go on.
Okay, here we go. As you know, for those who've been following this, my name is Odie Hawkins. For those who've been following this, it's just simply a reading of a book that I wrote that has some funny implications. I'm starting off with a framework of involvement in the martial arts, and then it goes to very many different kind of places. And for those who've been following it, you will know that I'm now in Ghana. Yeah. This is where chapter 8 begins. Been in Ghana before, and I know that you should expect that some sort of game is being run on you whenever anybody starts acting urgently. Come with me, sir. This burly, squat facilitator was pulling me over to a section next to the conveyor belt where our bags were going to spill down onto the belt. Madame, he called out to Zola, you can remain here, we will do this. Us men, huh? Remember that scene at the airport?
I remember that.
The facilitator's game was transparent after 3-4 bags had tumbled down onto the conveyor belt. We knew what our bag looked like. All we had to do was reach down and drag them off of the belt. The facilitator would have none of it. I will do it, sir, I will do it. And for that little bit of show business, he demanded a huge tip. Some gave him a huge tip. I didn't. 2013, 3 CDs to the buck. I put $2 in his hand, which is the kind of thing I would normally do to anybody who's doing some little service for you. It was too much for what he had done, but I felt compelled to pay the price for my failure to recall the games that were played on the travelers at Kotoka Airport, Ghana, West Africa. Zola had cherry-picked the Acacia Lodge from out of the mist, and it was a beautiful choice. It was so easy to conjure up the contrast between the Acacia and the Fair Gardens Hotel, a crazy place across the road from the Trade Fair Center. The Acacia was spacious, clean, mosquito-less, well served by a collection of young men who took their job seriously. Hello, Stephen Nara. Oh, Faustina Ohaniwa. Wootsan.
And her time.
Hey,
Yes.
you got him.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Owusu herself.
Amen.
the Fair Garden was the opposite of all of what the Acacia was like. I'll just leave it there. Who called Brother Kofi? How did he drop in on us? One thing is certain, we recognized that we were on the right page, the same page, from the moment we eased out of his taxi into the Acacia Lodge driveway. A cell phone taxi. Wow, that was a revelation. Mm-hmm. So where was Brother Kwame? I circulated the word from the moment we landed. I'm trying to find Kwame Edward Asiedu. I promised him that he would be my driver when I returned to Ghana here. Couldn't locate Brother Kwame. I felt bad about that. Mm. Oh well. We taxied away from the Acacia Lodge every day, selling coffee, and traveled through a new Accra, a new Ghana. I could barely recognize the place. Downtown Osu, where I used to hang out, tripping up and down the main street like it was my old neighborhood on the near west side of Chicago, was now full of shops, indoors and outdoors.
I just wanted to say that
please
truly appreciated the way that Kofi took care of us. He took care of us like we were his parents, like he was our son. And that was truly appreciated. One of the best taxi drivers in Ghana.
Best human beings.
Best human beings.
Yeah, I mean, he had opportunities, you know, like all people who are in service positions. If they know that you don't know, they can do anything with you.
Yeah, but an honest man.
He didn't do that.
Yeah.
He didn't do that. Matter of fact, if you can remember him going to one of the artistic centers with my money bag around his neck.
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
I will carry the money. I will know what to do with the money.
Yes, you're not going to have us taken
5'7", 135 pounds, soaking wet.
I know.
But he was
wonderful.
He was stuff.
Stephen, yes.
He was
remarkable people.
Well, couldn't locate downtown Osu, where I used to hang out. Interrupt me at any time.
Oh, and also Susan. Hello to Susan.
Susan Amagashi?
Susan Amagashi, and to her friend, the singer.
Rama Brew?
Yeah.
Yeah, people, you bring up memories that don't even occur to him.
Yeah, I know. Give me some Kelly Willie.
I'm going to throw this over on one side.
Give me a Colt.
Give me a club beer.
A club, that's what I mean.
Ooh,
club
man,
beer,
no.
club beer, yes.
It used to be ABC and then it became club. What's interesting about that particular beer? I'm coming back in a moment.
Yes.
What's interesting about that beer is that it's so good that they won't allow it to be sold in the United States, competing with all of these bitter, mean, evil-spirited beers.
It's the only beer that I would ever consider
and you are a
to drink. I am not a beer drinker, but club beer.
You're an undrinker. You don't know drink nothing.
Well, hardly, but this is true.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
You did have a glass of wine last year, didn't you?
I had a sip this year.
Oh, this year.
I had a sip today.
But, what they did, the story, the legend is that some German brewers came to Ghana in the 18th century or something, and because they wanted they wanted some beer. So they started a beer brewery. Originally, when I first went there, the beer was called ABC. And it was exactly the same thing we had. And then Club Beer bought ABC out, formed a conglomerate, but the quality level never sank.
Right. Very, very good.
Beer is strange. I'm not a beer drinker myself. As a matter of fact, I love water more than anything.
You heard that, Fast Eddie? Oops.
Oh, that's good. I'm not going to be on your program no more. You just throwing all my stuff out.
All right, back to the story.
Back to the... But it's a weird beer. It's best served chilled, but as it begins to warm up in that climate, it doesn't get flat. It becomes almost wine-like.
Yes, it does. It's real. Yeah. That was interesting. Good point.
Yeah, it becomes almost so that you can still drink it. I mean, like not like next day, because it would then be.
Well, within a couple hours, if you don't drink it down.
It chills and becomes very mellow as it goes down.
Quenches
and it doesn't get you drunk.
Yeah.
Maybe it has something to do with the climate, but it makes you feel that your thirst is being
Most
quenched
definitely. I had it for breakfast.
with your eggs and toast.
Yeah, sure.
I rest your case.
Thank you. All
What
right.
was I?
You're back at the story.
No, back
Downtown Accra.
downtown Accra. Osu, where I used to hang out, tripping up and down the main street like it was my old neighborhood on the near west side of Chicago, was now full of shops indoors and outdoors. The fire that you go back to will always be ashes. Stuff. And just around the corner where the Charlatan Bar used to hold me captive with well-chilled bottles of ABC Lager, now owned by a club,
I see.
right here. There were new businesses, new faces. Kofi, our driver, was a different kind of person too. Brother Kwame, his predecessor, would never have growled curses out of his window at other drivers. Don't you see how angry I am? Look at my face. Don't you see how angry you're making me? Yeah, right, curses. That was cursing.
Yes.
That was one driver giving the other driver the finger,
Yes.
verbally.
Verbally.
Don't you see how angry you're making me?
Didn't you see my
Wow.
face? Yes.
Maybe it had something to do with Kofi being a younger man from a younger generation, from a more vibrant Ghana. In any case, we liked and appreciated Kofi's feisty personality, his attention to business. I will be there at 9 o'clock for sure. And he was there. That was a new Ghana to me. There were times in the past when Brother Kwame didn't show up at all. Maybe the cell phone had something to do with it. After a week, our positions had been clearly defined. Zola was mama, and I was daddy. And Kofi was our taxi driving son. We made an interesting family.
Yes.
We didn't tell him what to do, how to deal with his life, and he did ditto. It made for a cool, respectful, civil relationship. Funny, I recall him saying as we were about to go through the 4-hour Kotoko Airport departure stuff. You must remember, something happens to all of us eventually. That was deep.
I remember him having dinner with us, and he said they would have that kind of food for breakfast, not for dinner.
I remember that too. Kofi, with a sarcastic smile, was trying to be deep. Let me repeat that. You must remember, something happens to all of us eventually. Kofi, with a sarcastic smile, was trying to be deep. I smiled all the way across the Atlantic. I felt like twittering back to him. Kofi, stay where you are. Don't try to escape your fate. You want to be deep. But I decided not to do that. He had said it all with his, you must remember, something happens to all of us eventually. Wonder what he meant by that. I'll ask after him when I see him again. These little vignettes, little power plays into your emotionality, if I want to put it that way, have to do with different people and places and times and circumstances that I found myself involved with. And I refuse to just go along with the plain linear narrative of saying, I was here and I did this, and that's not the way the human psyche works.
Who was it that called out to you? He was sitting on the sidewalk, and he said, Odie, you came back? Atu. Oh, yes.
Atu is another. We were up in Labone, and I hadn't seen him in years, but I had told him I was coming back, and so he wasn't sitting there waiting for me, but he was there.
Yes,
hey.
With a
Odie,
stop.
Odie.
Yeah, that was amazing.
People like to...
and a wonderful family he had. You know, for him to invite us to dinner. They invited
us to dinner, and we went there, we sat around, and we ate. Along with the inimitable Fast Eddie.
Ofari.
Alias Reverend Edwin Ofori Bar.
Ofori Bar. And his awesome family.
Yes, you have.
Yeah. And mustn't be remiss in forgetting one of our favorite people there. Kojo
Yanka.
Yeah.
Kojo Yanka, who had us come to his...
And his wife.
And his wife, who had us come to his Mr. and Mrs. Yanka. I thank you. We thank you. how do they say it in tree is medase.
Medase.
I remember the ga because it's ofine.
Oh, fine.
Oiwaladon. Oiwaladon. I may have gotten.
It's been a while.
But,
the sentiment is there.
yeah.
Such truly awesome people. Thank you for introducing me to
Oh, hey,
such jewels
let
on
me
the
tell
face
you.
of this earth.
You know, Zola, you're the kind of person who's supposed to be introduced to these people. If you were denied their companionship or their friendship or knowing them early on in life, you're at just the right time because maybe you wouldn't have seen them in the same way years ago or vice versa, I don't know. But, you know, somebody said when it's time, it's time.
Yes.
And when you run into them, then, you know, it's time and you meet them. And the interesting thing about Coach Yanka is that I would never have met anybody with his sense of nationhood. He's a real Ghanaian.
Yes, most
He
definitely.
doesn't have to promote it. He doesn't have to, you know, push it. But he's very proud of being Ghanaian, like Susan Amagashi, the Hofcast, as she calls herself, whose father was an Ede and mother was an English woman from Bath, England, Bath, who was a real Ghanaian. You know, some people are real, some are not.
One last person that was real was at the bar restaurant, the soccer player.
Soccer player.
Yes. Got a picture with him.
He was a soccer player, and you had a picture with him?
Yes.
You're talking about my man, Haderman.
Haderman, yeah.
From New Zealand. A Maori warrior who had gone to Ghana and opened up Cuzzy Bros restaurant, bar, all-time, good time place. If
There
you
could
want
be
to come
only one like him. Only one.
Yeah, Haderman from New Zealand, who's a Maori, and could stick out his tongue with the best of them. No pun intended.
All right, back to your story.
Be patient, readers. Listeners. This little vignette, this little side street that I'm going down. Yeah. It's called Me and Dickie.
Big side street.
Dickie. What was I? How was I when I met Dickie? I think about 10, going on 20. It all happened on the near west side, Washburn Avenue, Chicago, in the late 40s. First thing that I understood about Dickie, who was about 10 too, was that he was very smart. If I was older than my 10, Dickie was middle-aged. A very analytical person. I think he had the makings of a scientist of some kind. Plus he was kind, generous, adventurous, sympathetic, and that definitely made his thinking way ahead of where most of the people in our neighborhood were. I was the new boy on the block, fully prepared to defend myself by running from the usual suspects or standing my ground to get my ass kicked. I had lived in enough neighborhoods by the time to know what the drill might be. It didn't happen. Dickie came to sit beside me on the doorstep of our basement, 1150 West Washburn Avenue, the first day I got there. He said something to me in a voice that sounded like a cross between a trumpet blowing and a duck's quack. I was immediately fascinated. We strolled away from the stoop and bonded. That's the simplest way I can put it. We were about 4 feet something at 10 years old, slender from substandard diets. He was dark chocolate, me, dark walnut. We were quick moving, fast acting, quick to run or fight. That was the near west side at the time. The biggest difference between us is that someone had punched him in the head with a ball-peen hammer, I found out weeks after we bonded, and messed his speech thing up. He squawked, squeaked, squealed, and it became speaking. Strangely, some thought I understood him. I actually grew to like the way he talked. That might explain why, right now, why I can enjoy an old Ravi Shankar raga played next to a Mongo Santa Maria Afro-Cuban Orisha song. Yeah, I love the way he talked. But I never tried to imitate him. This wasn't about pidgin. This was an original language. He says to me, yes, and I said to him, yeah, let's go over there and see what's happening. Why we go? Okay. You want to get some candy? Fantastic mind. The near west side of Chicago within our time frame was rough, but not dangerous in the way it became later. On Washburn Avenue, where we lived, no one was shot because he or she was wearing the wrong color or for not having the wrong answer to a simple question. Where you from? Dickie, who was he? Who was he? I puzzled that one over for years. We lived on the same block, but I was definitely a few social steps above him. We lived in a dank basement overrun with rats. Dickie lived in a planked-up shack mounted on stilts directly behind the A&P market on the corner, and they had rats too. Dinoff's mom and pop store was directly across the street from Dickie's planked-up shack. He had an older brother nicknamed Butterbeans, an older sister named Lou Bertha, and a sister I named Naked Girl because that's the way I first saw her. It happened that sultry summer night, I slipped past the unlocked front door of the shack looking for Dickie, my rat hunting partner. It seemed like a good night to go rat hunting. I don't know if we ever killed any of the rats we speared with our feather-backed broomstick 3-nail prong spears, but we did stick spears to a lot of them. One of the scenes I can never forget is the sight of a huge rat slithering off the triple prongs of my broomstick spear, and Dickie saying in his multi-tone John Coltrane tenor, "Ah! Ah! Big Chicago rat tough, kill!" The naked girl was sprawled out on a dirty, wrinkled-up blanket with a dirty, wrinkled-up sheet brushed off to one side. It was the summertime. The scene was lit by a low sputtering kerosene lamp, the kind that used to spill over and burn houses and everything inside down. It was a rare sight to see at that time and in that place. People on Washburn were mostly ex-Mississippians, and they were always dressed either to defend themselves from the sun or the snow. I think Dickie's next to older sister was the first naked female I'd ever seen. I stared at every curve, all of the secret places. I think she may have awakened while I was staring at her, but she chose to pretend to be asleep. That's what I think now. I'll never know. The image of her form remains branded on my brain. Back to the rats. Us and the Chicago Fire Department guys, there was this fire department station right around the corner on Roosevelt Road. They were really good guys. When the sun and the humidity got to the unbelievable, unbearable level, they would come around and open up the fire hydrant on our streets. Good guys. I didn't think a lot about it at the time, but they had neighborhood personal good relations down pat. One of the ways they maintained their good guy image was to stalk the rat-infested alley behind their station and shoot rats with their .22 caliber rifles. We watched them shoot, and they watched us throw our spears. It was a mutual appreciation thing for sure. We were in the alley one night, spearing rats. The firemen came out there at 2200 and they looked. And we speared because all you had to do is just throw it into a garbage pile. You're going to spear something because it was... Anyway, rat runs out, dragging the spear, and the fireman shot him. And he looked at us and said, "You guys need to get some rifles." You guys need to get some rifles.
You just making rats angry.
We watched them shoot and they watched us throw our spears. It was a mutual appreciation thing for sure. You guys are pretty good with those things. We didn't know what to say to our hero firemen, but we definitely were blown away by their compliments. Some of the adults on our street, knowing much more about the rat increased birth cycle than we did, simply stared at our rat hunter. We got 3,000 of them, so you got 2.
Hey, 2 less.
Of course, we had no idea that the rats could breathe faster than we could spear them, or the fire department guys could shoot them. But what the hell, why not give it a shot? Rats were a fact of life. They were everywhere. In the evenings, they scurried across the alleys in large packs on their way to feed on the garbage. In between times, they raced through the neighborhood using well-known avenues. Some of us had become numbed out by the numbers of rodents running around. Okay, so we got rats. What can we do about it? Well, they could have made some broomstick spears and joined us in our rat hunting expeditions. That's what they could have done.
That's okay.
Oh well.
I think they had things to do.
Aside from rat hunting, we hustle our natural asses off. Rat-like, we took advantage of every opportunity that presented itself. The only overt act that we committed that could be called stealing happened when coal deliveries were made. Back then, in those pre-solar panel days, our homes were heated by coal stove. Mary, for example, had a beautiful little stove in the kitchen, front room, all-purpose place that was capable of warming up the whole basement. I spent many hours huddling in the east corner of the room reading and roasting my toes. The coal was delivered by the ton back then. A couple of smudged up guys would drive their truck up on the sidewalk in front of a customer, open the grate of their underground storage space, tilt the carriage rack of the truck and the dump back for 2 tons of coal right there. A lot of it spilled into the hole, loading into the storage space, but most of it formed a mountain of coal that had to be shoveled in. That's where me and Dickie, my man Dickie, came in. If the coal delivery man started shoveling from the other side of the mountain of coal, we would sneak to the back side of the mountain, peach basket in hand, and hand shovel the peach basket full of coal faster than the cat could lick his ass, to coin a little used cliche. Obviously, there were folks on our side of the mountain who saw what we were doing, and they thought it was cute or something. In any case, we waddled away using a diminishing amount of coal as a comfort. Financial dummies, we never sold our basket of pilfered coal for more than $1. We could have got 2.
Easy.
1 big fat buck, 50 cents each. We could buy 10 cents worth of penny candy. Spend 20 cents to go to the Joy Theater on Roosevelt Road, where they had marathon showings of Lash LaRue, Hop Hipalong Cassidy, and maybe even Herb Jeffries, the Brown Buckaroo, and pop for a shared box of hot buttered popcorn. I didn't know that Dickie was into the flicks until that fateful day. I was about to split off from him after cashing in 20 or 30 pop balls. The pop balls were recycled back then, 2 cents for the small ones, 5 cents for the large ones. We had scored with the large one. "Where you going?" he asked me. "I'm going to the Joy. They got a Wild Bill Hickok on." It was like I had lit a fire under him. He started jumping up and down. "Movies I like! Movies I like!" It only took one trip to the Joy, and one shared box of buttered popcorn for us to become regular moviegoers.
Oh, yes. Critiques in the making.
Yes, what do you think about that? The thing I especially liked about him is that he didn't talk during the movie.
Not bad.
Thank God. We ate our popcorn and stared at the storytelling unfolding on the stage, on the screen. Everybody else in the movie house talked or threw empty popcorn boxes around. But we didn't do any of that. We just watched the action. We talked about it afterwards like real movie critics. Dickie's vocal skills were not top-notch, but there were no better mimes around. And he would have given Marcel Marceau a run for his francs if they had competed. The brother was pure art. The action movie, cowboy movies of today, Hop Along, The Long Ranger, The Bronze Buckle, and the rest were created for Dickie to mime. He did the Lashley character so well, you could actually feel the slap of the bullwhip on your body. I screamed more than once trying to escape the wrath of his imaginary bullwhip. And then, you laughing, it hurt.
All in your imagination.
That's where it all is. That's what this is all about.
Yes, okay.
If it wasn't for imagination, we wouldn't even be here.
This is so true.
We are all imaginary.
Obviously.
Don't forget that. What is this you got me on?
That's going to be putting you on YouTube and Facebook.
You think that's real?
No, I don't.
Give me a break. Oh.
Yes, well.
Going back to reality.
Yes, please.
He did the National Rule character so well you could actually feel the slap of the bullwhip on your body. I screamed more than once trying to escape the wrath of his imaginary bullwhip. And then there was the sword fight movies, Robin Hood, the medieval knights, and all of that. Definitely corny shit by today's overblown tech stuff, but back then we ate it up.
Yes.
How many alley-side picket fences were dismembered to give us the swords we needed to thrust and parry? And stuntman stunts like leaping off of first and second floor backyard porches. It's a wonder we didn't break everything.
I know, that's right.
We didn't think that we were, we didn't think what we were doing was unusual or athletic. It was simply what we did. The people in the neighborhood talked about us, about it. Oh my God.
I bet they did.
They talked about us. How fast in the humid summer nights, some adults were sure to announce if he had downed one Pabst too many, I'll give $1 to who come in first on a 100-yard dash. They would clear the streets, and we have neighborhood runs.
Oh my, okay.
We would line up at the end of the street, boys and girls alike, and run as fast as we could. I won lots of dollars over the course of a summer. And Dickie, I had found out from racing him through the alleys, was faster than I was.
Ooh.
Can you imagine a speech-impaired person running
He had incentive.
I wanted that boy. I can call him that now because we were boys. But I wanted him to succeed so bad. I used to actually feel for him, as they say nowadays, in the way they said. I felt him.
Yeah.
But he never participated in the street races. I don't know why. Maybe he was shy or something. It didn't really matter. When I won, I split the tape with him. He was my brother.
Yeah.
The South Water Market was where we went to shop. Like I said, other than the coal filtering, we didn't steal. I've often wondered why we didn't steal. Our poverty-stricken lives would definitely have been some justification for stealing. Shit, everybody in our neighborhood was poor. The South Water Market was where the city veggies, produce in general, was trucked into the city. The area was huge, filled with trucks, docks, and men forklifting stuff from here to there. It paid to pay attention to everything all around you. The best time to get to the market was before dawn. We were always sure to find a couple of crocker sacks somewhere on the ground, something we could use to stuff full of potatoes that had fallen on the ground, cabbages that had escaped from captivity, neglected bunches of carrots, stray bunches of greens, food. We were not alone. Whole lots of people prowled around, being careful not to get in the way of the burly men who were loading, unloading, pushing loads of stuff from here to there. The men on the docks, the truck drivers, the workers were mostly Italian for some reason. I don't know. I knew something about Italians from the minor league race war that was always simmering between us and the Italians on the other side of Roosevelt and Racine. The thing I noticed about these Italians is that there was something different about the way they spoke Italian. I picked the right moment and approached one of the workers as he was sipping a cup of coffee. Y'all speaking Italian, huh? Yeah, we speak Italian, yeah. But it don't sound like regular Italian to me. This big, burly, bearded guy gave both of us a very curious look. What's a regular Italian sound to you? I can't repeat it, but it don't sound like the way y'all talk. The big, burly, unbearded guy standing up there on the dock with a clipboard and a number 2 pencil in his hand called down to the man we were talking to. They exchanged some words. The man with the clipboard was obviously asking our worker guy what we wanted. The man on the dock gestured for us to come to him. We were feeling a little antsy by this time. Damn. Had I said something, asked something that was going to get us in trouble? I did the telepathic communication thing with Dickie. Be prepared to haul ass quickly if shit gets sticky up in here.
Mm-hmm.
Dickie nodded ever so slightly. We were telepathically here.
Yes.
We climbed up on the dock. It seemed to be 4 stories high. Hey, Pasquale tells me you boys speak Italian. We busted out like, Italians? Shit, we just grabbing hold of basic standard English 101. Well, I was anyway. No, we don't speak Italian. But I was just asking if that was Italian y'all was speaking, because it didn't sound like the Italian I'd be hearing near where we live. Where do you live? 1150 Washburn. The big, burly, unbearded man with the clipboard pulled a fat cigar out of his shirt pocket, lit it, blew a few puffs of this real fragrant cigar smoke in our direction before he spoke. Nah, this ain't a regular Italian, kid. You got a good ear. Eh? We speak a Sicilian. You know what Sicily is?
I don't think so.
What? You dropped some tomatoes over there?
Yes.
Hey, watch it! We nodded no in tandem. Sicily? Hey, what's that mean? Where was it? Near Detroit? Maybe? Okay, it don't matter. You still got a good ear. Your buddy hasn't said a word. You speak Italian too? The big burly man was smiling through the cigar smoke. Wow, I was being forced to define Dickie. I'd never been forced to do that before. No sir, he don't speak so good. He have a problem. Dickie countered my defense of his vocal skills by releasing a series of outraged squawks and upper register soprano sounds that said, as I interpreted, hey, I don't speak the way y'all speak, but I know how to speak, so there. By this time, a couple other men with clipboards had joined us on the dock. Our guy turned to the other guy and said in very clear English, you see these 2 kids around here? You make sure to get some stuff, okay? Yeah. You see them around here, you make sure to get some stuff.
Oh, that's so nice.
I knew it was sympathetic. I knew the man was giving the order was somebody, from the way the other men with the clipboard tilted their heads up and down like mopper down. He didn't give us his name or a backward glance, but he left a legacy behind. Thereafter, whenever we tripped to the South Water Market, the only thing we had to do was go to where Mr. Cigar had made us privileged persons. It was very interesting to see how the workers figured out ways to load us up. Hey you, hey kid, this melon burst open, you want? He's throwing it on the ground. A beautiful watermelon with a slight earthquake fault showing. Shit, hell yes, we want that. It never occurred to us that we were feeding our families with our potatoes, cabbages, carrots, onions, stuff from the South Walker market. We were granted a privileged status in our part of the market, and we could bring home food. That's all that mattered. Couple of sticky points. One day, Mr. Cigar spied us wandering around. Hey, you, come here, come here. We had found out that Mr. Cigar was really a nice guy, but he always sounded rough with that deep throat of his. We ran over to him, climbed up on the dock. We got 2 extra crates of eggplant and cauliflower. You want? Yes, sir. Yeah.
Where's eggplant and where's cauliflower?
That's my nickname. Eggplant. What the hell was that? Cauliflower? We stared at the crates. Eggplant and cauliflower.
Take it home.
How you gonna get it home? We looked at each other. There was no way we could carry 2 crates home on our shoulders. Mr. Cigar solved the problem. One of my drivers is going to be leaving in 15 minutes. I'll have him make a little detour to Washburn, okay? Yes, sir. Yeah. 15 minutes later, we were sitting in the cab of a big rig, barreling down the streets, terrified. We'd never been in the cab of a 16-wheeler before. We had never been anything that high off the ground, moving. The driver whipped around corners like he was driving a sports car.
Oh my
It took him about 10 minutes to cover the distance from the South Water Market to where we live. Mr. Catania said I should drop you through Spooks at 1150 Washburn, right down the street here. Is this right? We were so freaked out by our experience in the cab of the truck, we could only nod, yes, yeah. We drew a small crowd climbing down out of the truck, and an even larger crowd as the driver helped us pull the crates of eggplant and cauliflower off of the back of the truck. Hard to say what people thought of us, of the big truck delivering us and the crates from the market. Dickie helped drag both crates to the entrance of our basement and did a fadeaway on me. See you later for some rat hunting, he signed, and was gone. It took me a few minutes to figure out why he had split. I don't think Dickie had a stove to cook on in his shack. They said they didn't have running water or a flush toilet. We had running water, but no toilet either. So he had given me this crate of weird-ass veggies, eggplant, cauliflower, weird stuff like that. My Aunt Mary, more on her in a little bit, was the matriarch ruler sister in our basement. She usually gave me a quick, nice boy pat on the head smile when I stumbled in with a bag full of cabbage, potatoes, apples, whatever, but not this time. She pried open the crate of cauliflower and stared at the contents for a hard minute. Then she pried open the crate of eggplants and stared at them. Where you get this from? From the market. House members snuck peeks at the veggies in the crates. Aunt Mary picked up a couple of the eggplants and studied them. It did the same with the cauliflower. Why they give you all this? Mr. Catania say that they got some extras, so they give it to us. You know, this is Italian food. We don't use no stuff like this. And married the matriarch of 1150 Washburn has spoken. We were not going to be eating eggplants or cauliflower because that wasn't our food. Furthermore, she added, this stuff probably has poison anyway. Them people don't be giving nothing away unless it ain't no good. So the eggplant and the cauliflower were dumped in the alley, giving our neighborhood rodents a rare eggplant cauliflower feast. And I'm ending that on chapter 9, and we will begin there next time because it has come time to end this time.
Okay, so you read chapter 8.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. As you can see, it's going slowly, but it's going. And I got to tell you that your spontaneous involvement in this project is giving me more than a little kick.
Well, when you mention Ghana, it brings such a smile to my heart, to my soul. You know, it's just...
I think you're trying to influence your audience.
Well, no, this is most sincere, you know. I really love those moments in time. Look forward to it again.
Are we sheltered at home and we can't get out? That's why we...
That's the pandemic.
Is that why we're becoming so close? I'm reading...
Well, we've always
I'm
been
reading
close.
my stuff on YouTube to you.
Yes.
And remember, every now and then there's some other...
There are people
folks
outside
out
there.
there.
Yeah.
Hey, take us seriously. Take us seriously. Because
Yes.
it's serious.
One day we'll be back. One day.
Yeah,
When they get it squared away.
I don't really give a shit. I'm satisfied. You know?
Yeah.
I'm 83. I just had a birthday in July.
Uh-huh.
I know that I've been given more than my number of years to be here. 'Cause I was supposed to die at 8 when I ran into the car. I was supposed to die at 9 when I ran into the fire hydrant. I was supposed to die at 10 when they kicked my ass so bad my nose bled. I think I was supposed to die.
From malaria and all the malaria.
No,
that you
I'm
had.
so,
Yes.
all this is the bonus.
Well, you've been blessed. You were supposed to stick around so you could be my husband.
Well, whatever you want me to be.
Yes. There you go.
Turn off the camera.
You got that right. Your books are at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your website.
That can always make her feel embarrassed. That can always make her feel embarrassed. Turn off the camera.
www.odiehawkins.com is your website.
Look forward to seeing you, Alfred, in August.
Yes, we'll see you.
You too, James.
You too, Jay. Ciao.
Ciao.